negative test result. That is very important requirement when traveling to the Philippines. Although other countries like Canada, Australia, UAE, Saudi Arabia, many European countries have already removed that test result requirement for entry, the Philippines still, like the US po, still requires it. So we must have it. This is required for all passengers who are 3 years old and above. Yan. Well, what does our test result need to have? No, kailangan accepted, because if our test result is not accepted or invalid, we will not be able to board the airplane, or we may end up in quarantine upon arrival in the Philippines. Now, we don't want that to happen, so we will avoid that. In this video, let's start with the 3 most common mistakes about the negative test result testing requirement. Then we'll talk about what should be in your test result. Ano dapat yung mahahanap para sure na accepted. So let's start with the first mistake lang of travelers. Some travelers have expired test result. So upon check-in, the airlines check the result. This is expired, invalid. We cannot accept it. We cannot let you board. This happens, kababayans, expired. Remember, the Philippines accepts 2 types of tests. Pwede RT-PCR, you can also use antigen test. So either of the 2, it's your choice, RT-PCR or antigen. Remember, for RT-PCR has to be taken within 48 hours before departure. Departure po is oras ng pag-alis. Yan lang po ang basis, the time when you were swabbed. It should be within 48 hours before your flight. While for antigen, rapid antigen test, it is taken within 24 hours before departure. And I think this is the most siguro nerve-wracking part of travelers. So, is this the correct time? Is this within the allowable time? How do you compute? Or you can also use this website date and time calculator. Let me show you. So, let's go to Google and search date and time calculator. The first one, itong www.timeanddate.com. Tapos, the first thing you'll do, diba, you will see start date, and then add or subtract, calculate new date. So, you first click include the time. And then, let's go get your itinerary, yung ticket ninyo, and check the departure time and date. And input it here, write it here. So, for example, if your flight date is, let's say, sa 25. Yan, 25. Month, let's say for the month of May, year 2022. What time is the flight? So, for example, 12:30 ng afternoon, 12:30. Tapos, kung RT-PCR, if you're choosing RT-PCR test, go subtract and put 48 hours because 48 hours valid yung RT-PCR, right? So, then we can calculate the time on when can we have the test, the earliest time and date. Ayan. Kung yung flight nyo is May 25, 12:30, you can have your test May 23, 12:30. So, minus 2 lang po siya. So, much better, guys, na don't have the test exactly 48 hours. Magbigay ng allowance. So, you can use, let's say, 46 hours para may 2 hours allowance. Yan. Diba? So, May 23, pwede na 2:30 ng hapon. So, for example, still, the flight is May 25, 12:30 p.m. But you're thinking to take antigen test. So, you can go subtract 24 hours. Diba? 24 hours valid antigen test. Calculate new date. Yan. Tuesday, May 24, 12:30. So, minus 1 lang sa date kasi 24 hours. Still the same time. So, you can have your test on or after 12:30 ng May 24 kung antigen test. So, this is the website, timeanddate.com. This is the one I used to check whenever people ask me if their testing appointment is within the allowable time. Next mistake is taking a remotely supervised or self-administered rapid antigen test. Yan. It's not accepted. Whether you did the test and had the healthcare professional through video call watch you, no, that's not accepted. Please don't use that type of test. In the US, they usually have Binax. No po. remotely supervised, telehealth supervised, self-administered, wag po. That is not accepted. Okay? The one that the Philippine government wants is test administered and certified by a healthcare professional. The test should be done by another person, not by you. Hindi yung ikaw magaganon, dapat sila. Dapat sa certificate, your test result certificate should not mention self-administered or supervised. No, avoid those words kasi those words will put you in quarantine. Let me share the experience of Cora. Cora arrived recently. She said, "Hi, Miss Terri. Currently at Bureau of Quarantine in NAIA, they have rejected the New Zealand supervised antigen test certificate certified by a pharmacist done at New Zealand's leading pharmacies. Travelers were put to quarantine facility kahit na negative at fully vaccinated." Same with the experience of an OFW from Singapore who took an off-site test. It wasn't accepted. He was sent to quarantine. So we don't want that. So yeah, avoid self-administered and supervised. You can have the test sa clinic, sa pharmacy, sa hospital, or any healthcare facility. Basta sila nag-administer. Next mistake is test result does not state the time of specimen collection. Yan po. That's very important. Time of specimen collection means the time nung naswab ka, nung kinuha yung specimen, yung saliva mo ba, or sinuwab ka sa throat, ganun po. Time of collection, hindi, the basis is not the time where the result was released, hindi po, time of collection yung naswab ka po, okay? So for example, this was shared by Honey. She got her testing at Fukuoka Airport. Flight ko sana nung May 7, Fukuoka Airport, pero hindi ako pinasakay. May problema daw sa PCR test ko, hindi daw kasi naka-indicate ang time, pero may date siya May 6. Oh, ay grabe naman. RT-PCR, dapat tanggap yun kasi May 6. Obviously, within 24 hours na yan. Oh, ganun po. Ito nga, pasok na pasok, hindi tinanggap. Make sure that the test result has your date and time of collection. Dapat may time po kung kailan po kayo na swab. This was the test result na binigay kay Honey at Fukuoka Airport. Talagang walang nakalagay. It did not mention about in sample collection date. Hindi nilagay kung kailan siya na-test, what time. Ayan, very important. So, I want to show you what an acceptable test result looks like. Ito po. This was an example. First up, it should mention the name of the facility, the clinic or pharmacy or a hospital or laboratory. It should mention the name and then your complete name as reflected in the passport. For married women who still have their passports in their maiden names, pwede po kayong magdala ng marriage certificate. And then it should mention the date and time of collection. Yan, for example, this one, date May 2, time 8:30 a.m. And then, it should mention negative or SARS-CoV-2 not detected, yung result. And then, lastly, it should have the type of test. So, either RT-PCR or antigen or PCR. Yan po. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 things that your test result must have. Yan, 5 po. Dapat walang nakalagay self-administered or supervised. In summary, before you book your test, guys, make sure na meron sila nung 5 important information. QR code, passport number are not needed. Kahit walang QR code, it will still be accepted. And if your name in your passport is different from your vaccination or test result, bring na lang po supporting documents. Yun lang po ang most important things. Your test result must be valid, right type of test, RT-PCR or antigen. Basta may PCR, yun yung pinaka-importante din. And then, 5 important information, name of facility, complete name, date and time of collection, negative test result, type of test. Yan lang po. So, I hope that every one of you will be able to secure your acceptable test result. We don't know when would this requirement be lifted or removed. We'll keep an eye, pero for now, we still have to comply. If you have children who are 3 years old and 8 months and 5 months, please confirm with your airline whether maghahanap sila ng test result. Kasi IATF says 3 years old and below, hindi kailangan. But if you have kids more than 3 years old pero hindi pa 4, please confirm with the airline. So this is all for your negative test result requirement. God bless you all. I hope you all have a safe and smooth arrival in the Philippines. Bye.